Good evening. About 40 years ago, when I first started studying psychology, we actually didn't think too literally that we could change our minds. That wasn't what we thought about so much. However, some recent research over the last several years is really changing that for us. Now, before I get too started, I had one of my favorite kitties as a pet by the name of Muffin. And some of what happens to cats isn't very nice, but this is a story somewhat about some nice cats and some things that actually benefited them. This person here is Dr. Barry Sturman from UCLA. He studied learning, and he used cats as well as what's called the Electroencephalogram, which is a machine that allows us to detect the very subtle electrical impulses that goes on in the brain. Here are some examples of how those waveforms look in the human brain. Now, the brain is composed of billions of neurons, and all of these work in a network together. So what he did is he took cats and he put them into a crate, something like this, and they had to press a bar in order to get food. So they learned how to do that, and he detected that they had an EEG signature that went along with that. And he trained them to do that. Then he did a clever thing. He took the bar away so that the cats no longer had to do it, and they could only do it by producing the EEG signature, and they were able to do it. They could think their food. However, another problem soon happened. NASA had problems with a rocket fuel, and it was killing people. Barry Sturman exposed the cats, about 50 of them, to rocket fuel, and most of them died. However, 10 of them didn't. Those were the ones in his previous study, the Jedi Cass. I'm sure they weren't very happy about it. But the take-home lesson with that is this was the first time that somebody had purposefully taught, instructed, trained a change in a brain. This quickly became part of a seizure study. This is a sample of 24 people with uncontrolled seizures. You can see after a period of time that they were able to reduce their seizures by 60%. How does this work? What happens is a computer, we put sensors on the human brain or on the skull next to the brain, some special software then takes that and we show it back to the person using that software in their brain. It results in the brain changing. Now, post-traumatic stress disorder is an example, a very serious disorder, lots of problems, and our treatments, frankly, are not very good about it. It doesn't do a very good job. This is a brain of someone on post-traumatic stress disorder. This man was an Afghan vet. He did 5 combat tours. And although it's not a very good illustration here, what we see, the red and white are signs of hypervigilance. The diamond area up there is hyperarousal and overarousal. He was in a very desperate circumstance. So we did 20 sessions of neurofeedback with him in order to calm his brain down so that he wasn't so hypervigilant. And now you see that those colors are pretty much gone. He's a lot calmer. He's now sleeping 8 hours a night instead of just 2 or 3. He's not vigilantly scanning the environment looking for threats. And he's ready to go back to work. Chronic pain is another one. Some of you who have had chronic pain problems, even though the injury has been long healed, your brain believes it is still there. It's a very real problem. You feel that pain. It is real. But it's a neurological problem. So what this can do is help the brain retrain itself so it doesn't feel that pain. It is a brain-induced phenomenon. Here's an example of a 70-year-old woman who was hurt by a horse when she was a teenager and developed arthritis. 60 milligrams of methadone was not cutting her pain. When she started the neurofeedback, she was only having about 1 day a week of low pain. You can see from there that that went up to every day of the week of low pain. By the way, at the same time, she reduced her medication by 1/5 of what it had been. So 4 months later, she's doing very nicely and literally jumped for joy in my office. Now, this kind of technology is now available and has been shown to be useful for a variety of conditions. Here's just a brief list of them. It is something that excites me tremendously because we now see that we have the means and technology, thanks to Muffin and her cousins, of being able to actually change the way our brain truly functions. Thank you.